Ava was such a great start to her career and who she is as a person, but there's so much more to her.
Right.
And like that's what our Big Ups official account is about. It's about people getting close to her and me and like her being unapologetically herself and creating her own image and legacy. Because when you have someone like The Rock or even her mother, like Danny Garcia, it feels close to impossible to surpass such a legacy. Look at who we're talking about, right? And like those who are really diehard fans of The Rock know about Danny Garcia because, you know, he wouldn't be who he is without her. And I will die on that hill. And I would say that to his face.
Yeah. What up? You already know it's your man Radio Big Mack, and we are here with the Mackdown Report and all special guests hanging out with me from, and I don't know how to say the city. I just know Australia. How do you say the city?
Sydney. Did you get it right?
No, I
what did you write?
Adelaide.
Oh, Adelaide. Okay, this is the one thing that I really had a pet peeve with WWE. I'm from Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
Not Adelaide.
So I didn't get that wrong seeing it.
They got it wrong. And I will tell you, I went up to them and was like, guys, just FYI, I'm not from there.
So where did that come from, though?
Oh, well, because Zaria, Bria, they all come from there. Grayson and I come from Sydney.
Gotcha.
So there's a difference there.
So they're like, oh, the women from Australia.
Well, when I had my first like match, they got it right. But then my first crowd match on LFG with our NXT crowd, they were like, from Adelaide. And I'm like doing this pose and I'm like, in my head, like, Adelaide? I'm like, lock in. Like, I was like, lock in. But it's such a big thing for me because I'm like, I come from what you would call the hood back in the day. And so like being from Waterloo Redfern in Sydney is such a big thing for me. And I love to represent where I come from. So, you know, 2017 is where I'm from. I'm not from Adelaide and I'm not going to pretend like I am. You know, as you guys say here, like I made it out the mud.
That's right.
And like, so it's such a big thing for me. But yeah, I'm from Sydney, Australia.
Well, okay. From Sydney, Australia, we got Tatyana Dumas here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
No,
honestly,
it's all pleasure for me. I first discovered you or came across you because of LFG. But I want to know, before we even get into any of that, like before LFG, who was Tatyanna?
Oh, Tatyana Dumas. She was a international sports model, actor, pro basketball player, traveled internationally.
Basketball.
I did.
Now, I know in some countries, like soccer means football, and in Australia, basketball is basketball.
Basketball is basketball. You know, just a multifaceted individual. I did everything from like coaching for your NBA academy to playing all over the world to modeling for your biggest brands, both, you know, in America and Australia. Gatorade being one of the first like ever non-pro athletes to ever get a Gatorade commercial.
Wow.
You know, then bouncing around doing Under Armour and, you know, doing all these different brands. And then I became Australia's, I think it's first black female stunt performer. So we kind of bounced around a little bit, all before the age of 23.
I was going to say, because
24.
You're young and you just listed a lot of things that some people don't do in their whole career.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to add like smaller things, like, you know, started my own coaching business and, you know, you just kind of get wrapped up in doing stuff. Like my day would look like 10 a.m. start, 12 a.m. finish. And that includes like adding in your own workouts and attending to all your clients and, you know, juggling different, you know, organizations and just modeling jobs and everything like that. And I think, you know, it's been like, I don't think people truly understand it until you're in it.
Right.
And like, it sounds a lot because it is a lot.
It sounds like a hell of a lot.
Yeah. And so like, you know, time management has been my friend since I was 16, which is when I got into the industry, the modeling industry. And it kind of just taught me how to juggle things very quickly, including family time. And honestly, I do take my hat off to my family because they are the most patient individuals and the most understanding people I've ever met in my life. You know, I'm not I'll say this, I'm a difficult person when I have my mind on what I want to do in life.
Right.
I'm difficult to be around because a lot of it won't make sense. Like, what do you mean you're going to go to bed at like 3 a.m.? I have to get these ideas out. I have to create this. I have to go in, call this person or do this.
Right,
or
you got this idea going. Yeah,
I need to
finish
do it.
Flush it out.
Yeah. Or what do you mean like you're working out at a basketball court at like 1 a.m.? It's like, I need extra shots.
Yeah.
Like I hit 800 yesterday. That's not 1,000. Like you need to start the day early. And even understanding the fact that I'm not going to be home all the time. And, there has to be this level of understanding of being like, she'll call when she's not busy or she's not rejecting us or neglecting us. She's genuinely tired. She's asleep right now. Like it's all of this type of stuff that they really do. They do such a great job at. But yeah, before LFG, there was a girl with a plan.
A lot.
And a lot going on. So
what was the passion? Like you're saying the 16-year-old girl that's doing basketball and modeling and acting, and what was the original passion that like you're like, this was where it all began?
I'm not going to say the passion. I'm going to say the motivation.
Okay.
The motivation for all of that really came from watching my mom have us in what you would call like the hood back then, and juggling 3 kids, 1 job, no support. It really does change the way you view things. Like it's always been a thing of mine being like, okay, like one day I'm going to create this lifestyle that I want my mom to have. And so like the motivation came through getting out the mud.
Right.
And then the passion came from loving what I did. And everything that I did was a shot in the dark. I wasn't doing sport at all until like I was 9. And basketball was like I said, a shot in the dark. Like we weren't sure. My mom was like, I need all my kids in something, and so they can stay away from what's going on outside.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, not that we were ever bad kids. We were very much like focused. We always listened to mom. But to keep away from the chaos going on outside our doors, it was like, all right, let's be immersed in something and really
something positive.
Yes.
Keep you, yeah.
And
we do that over here too. That's
exactly. And like, no matter where you are in the world, there's always going to be people coming out the mud because of their situation or, what's kind of transpired environmentally and yada, yada. But yeah, it kind of started from that. And then I was like, I believe I'm more than a basketball player. And like, I fell in love with basketball. I'm still very much in love with it, but the passion has changed now.
Were you good?
I was good. Listen, if defense, hold on. Defense wins games, right? I will die on that hill. But if you counted defense as like there was a point system for defense.
Okay.
Listen.
Right. Okay. I'm with you.
Lock down.
Defense wins games.
Defense wins games.
We established that first.
Defense wins games.
But there's 2 sides of the ball.
Pause. I'm gonna get there.
Good pause.
Pause. I'm gonna get there. But I did score. But I was also a very selfless point guard.
Buckets.
Selfless, right? I knew when, and I was like, "She's open, bang. That's a better option."
Right.
I wasn't like, "Well, I'm open." That like I wasn't about that.
I was a team player.
I was a team player, and
your
like,
assist was higher than your points.
Yeah, because like to me, it's about winning as a team.
Right.
Yes, I can look good, but that's the thing. It's like you set an expectation. You're supposed to hit 28 points a game, and you fall off and you hit 10. Well, it's not going to feel as good, is it? And there's going to be this pressure to, outperform each time. And yes, you can build consistency, but if you have a bad day, I'm that person that's like, I had a bad day. I need to get back on the court and shoot 2,000 shots.
Right.
And it's a different type of pressure that I put on myself. Like there is nobody on this planet Earth that is going to put more pressure on me than me. There is nobody. And so it's like, it's not that I was afraid of going out there, being consistent, anything like that. It was just like, I know when the right shot is mine.
Right.
And when this is a better shot and option for our team. And it's about being selfless. And I think that's probably my biggest gift and curse. I know how to be
being selfless.
Yeah. Because my mom told me to be like that. That's all I had seen growing up. Her being selfless. My mom really did promote being selfless to us as kids and really being considerate about other people and what works best for the situation and your environment later on, like your teams and things like that. But yeah, so I can score. Don't get me wrong.
What was
I'm
the highest
fast.
point you scored? Just add it, just so we have it out there in the world. Because now I know your dimes, you out there, you dishing it.
I'm dishing.
I know
but
you
I will
dishing.
say, like, it's not impressive. Let me tell you something. If someone like, I got 45. It's like, all right, but how many times you hear 45?
Right.
Like, consistent 26 is
Okay.
better than your 45.
That's
you know what I mean?
solid.
But like, it depended on the day. You know what I mean? If I know I'm having an off day, it's like, all right, we're gonna dish that because that's a better option. Or I'm gonna beat people with my speed. Like,
Did you have handle too?
yes, I had to. I'm 5'7". I had to. Right? But that was the thing. I was fast that most of the time it was like people had to run to catch up. And like I would have to slow down, which is like I have a story behind being too fast in Australia. And like that bit me in the ass more than it did really benefit me.
Wait, what happened?
Look, here we go, story time. We had this thing back home called like a state team. And I don't know what you guys call it here, but
Like AAU type of thing?
no, it's like we represent each state in Australia. So there's like, New South Wales, there's Victoria,
Right,
yada,
right.
yada. So it's like each of these states have a team. Anyway, I was like doing an under 20s tryout. And at the end of the day, they give you like whether you made the team or not. And I come in and I'm like, had a great tryout. You know what I mean? Like I'm up, sitting down. And I remember this was the first time I had ever zoned out after hearing feedback
Wow.
because I couldn't believe it. And I'm sitting there, coaches are talking like, thank you for coming. Like you had a great tryout. But unfortunately we're not going to be selecting you for this team. I'm like, okay, sir.
That happens, yeah.
It happens, right? You're not going to make everything and that's
Right.
fine. It's how you pick yourself up and come back. And I'm like, okay, sir. And then he says, based on the team dynamics and things like that, like, it's just not going to work. But, like, one big thing is you're too fast for this team.
Oh.
I
We play slow ball over here.
blinked a few times. And I remember being like, it's me. I'm tripping. I've heard something wrong. I'm not hearing this correctly. He's like, you're too fast for this team. Like, you're grabbing the ball and you're taking it down the end and, like, then you have to circle back and wait for the team. I remember zoning out, being like, there's no way.
Can't be.
There's no way.
No way,
You
I'm
could have
too
said,
fast.
back then, you literally, and this is what I mean by, like, I am so honest with myself. Back then, you could have said, your three ball, low percentage. This is why we're not picking you. We need someone who can be consistent on the
Right.
three ball, hit that when we need it. And I would have accepted that. And I would have been like,
You wouldn't have zoned out with that.
no, I would have been like,
gotta
look,
work on my three.
I
Yeah.
know that's my weakness. Because I was so fast, I didn't need to shoot a three ball.
Right.
Like, very rarely was I put in that position. So if he had said that, I would have been like, you know what, sir? You're right. You're right.
Being too fast.
Being too fast, I couldn't believe it. And like when
crazy.
I tell this story, people cock their head like I'm lying. And I don't blame them because like at the time, he's like, I zoned out. I can't remember anything after that. And I sat there and I was like, I look at him and he goes, do you have any questions?
A lot.
And I remember I hear my mom in my head, not the time. I said, no, sir. Thank you so much.
You
for
just
your,
left it at that?
Thank you so much for your time.
Wow.
Because how are you going to tell me that I'm too fast when in reality the team is unfit? You don't want to address the
They got a
situation.
team of me on there.
Like-
Just a bunch of slow people.
Like, there's literally footage. They had shown me footage of like me going down the other end. Someone kicked it. I was in the point guard at the time because they had particular girls that want to play point guard. I said, no problem. I'll run you a 2-3. And like they kick it ahead. Like they kicked it to me halfway. Boom. I'm like about to just do a layup. I stopped my layup because I realized there's no one behind me.
Nobody
I'm like, not that I couldn't make the layup, but they had told me like we're doing like this thing where everyone slows down, we run through the play, everything like that. So I like turn back around and I'm like dribbling the ball and I'm like, where is everyone? Like that's an easy bucket, but like I'm trying to follow instructions.
Right.
Being like, okay, we're gonna run this play, this
To not
play.
be selfless.
to not be selfish, I was like, I'll come back around. And I just remember waiting. And I was like, they're all jogging
Just
back.
sitting there, just
Yeah. And there's like only one girl on the key. It was like their big man, because she was lazy, didn't want to leave the paint. And I was like, that's just some.
Well, as a big person who played center, if we would have went out there, if she would have went out there to guard you, you would have blew past her so fast and would have looked crazy.
Right.
So you got to hold your...
So she held her ground.
You have to.
I respect that. I was like, you know what? She knows her role.
Yes.
Rightfully so. She's like 6
Just like you said, you too fast. No, we know there's a line.
There's a line.
We can't go past that foul line. You will burn us.
But she wasn't stupid. She was like, nah, that's fast. Like, I'm not going to beat that. She was like 6'3", bigger girl. Like, she was an Islander girl at the time. And I was like, yeah, you know what? You know. Because I've burnt you so many times before, you know. Anyway, it was crazy. And I wish there was more footage of me, but like
burning these girls.
Yeah, just back then we didn't really well, back then we didn't have money for a camera. And so like there's also that, and like people are like, oh, you talk so much about basketball, there's nothing on you. I'm like, listen, we didn't have money back then, and my teammates had money, but they also came from money. And so like even if someone did film our games, the cost to pay for that footage was already too much for us.
Wow.
And like you're talking to someone who is in a household with 3 athletes, right? My siblings played rugby. At the time I played basketball. My mom had to fund all of that. Damn. And so like these extra expenses, there isn't
right.
There isn't enough.
Getting a camera to film, especially with 3 kids that are all doing stuff.
But even like, you know, back then it was just like you're just out here to survive. And I'm so like when I think about all the footage I should have had and could have had, and I was just like, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. Like, I did a great job for the time that I had in basketball, and I traveled the world doing it. And like I said, I wish I had more footage, but there isn't. And that's the reality. There's so much more footage than everything else I did.
Doesn't matter now that your legacy is a story that people can tell. Like, oh yeah, she was fast. We didn't even see her.
But like that, it's always been that way. And like, it's funny because one of the kids I have back home, well, she's not really a kid anymore. Kind of is. She's 19, but she was inspired to become a coach. And so like back home, there's this course, and she went to the course, and she was asked who her inspiration was, and she said me. Anyway, the gentleman who was taking the course, Jared, he had mentioned like, he goes, oh my God, I know her. And my kid's like, oh yeah, from when? He goes, under 10s, under 12s. Keep in mind back home, I would have either been 9 or 10 years old.
Right.
I'm now about to be 27. So this man remembered me
for that long.
For my ability on the court. And I was like, wow.
You must have ran past him so fast that he was like, ain't nobody speed past me that fast.
Like, to me, I'm like, that's, not that I need validation, but I'm like, that's all I need.
That's solid.
You know what I mean? You remembered me for 17 years, like 17, 18 years.
To remember somebody that ran past you as a speed of lightning, you ain't even see you.
Like, that's all I need. You know what I mean? But, you know, like everyone has a book, and that was a chapter in my book, and I loved it with all my heart and soul.
When did you feel giving that up to go to wrestling? And how easy was that for you?
I don't think it's ever easy. I don't think it's ever easy. Leaving your first love is never easy. I think I really did feel it when I was 22, 23. And it's kind of young still, but I was like, Australia isn't really choosing me. And it's not because of anything other than people's own stories that they're making up about me. None of these are even true. You know, and people were questioning my integrity and my character and all of these things. And I was like, the amount of lives I have affected in such a positive way, and you are going behind my back, speaking so ill of me. I'm like, this isn't why I fell in love with the sport.
Basketball, right.
I'm like, I fell in love with everything that comes with it. And right now, Australia doesn't love me. And so I'm going to either move to a different country where I know my aggression, my speed, and like my passion is appreciated, such as the States or Europe. Like, Europe is a whole different ballgame. Like,
So it was between Europe and here.
yeah, but also like another thing that kind of changed my trajectory was English. But like
Trajectory.
there we go.
Got you.
Blah, blah. But was
Mind you, I was so
You got it,
nervous I
though.
couldn't say
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I
You
was
got
like,
it.
I can't come in and help you.
No.
And I'll f up the word too.
No, you got it. Was like when I had jumped into modeling. Back then, the NCAA ruling was if you had used your skill to make money, you were registered as an amateur. Like instead of amateur, you were registered as a pro. So when I did my first basketball thing at 16, little did I know that college was never going to be an option.
Oh.
So it wasn't until I was 19 and got a scholarship, like from Westchester, and they were putting through everything. NCAA came back and was like, "We've seen you everywhere. You aren't an amateur anymore. You're a pro." And I was like, pause. You're telling me that I've been a pro since I was 16 and I didn't even know because I used my sport to make money? They said, yes.
Wow.
I said, how are you expecting for me to pay for college? I said, I come from a single parent home. This is the way I make money. And the only way I can pay for college is through my modeling jobs.
Right.
They said, we're not sure. I was like, so are you giving me a full scholarship? Because there's no way I can pay for this without my modeling. And they were like, well, we're going to have to tear up your scholarship anyway. And I was like, wow, because you guys didn't get a dime, you're ruining this new opportunity for me. And
potentially your future.
Potentially my future,
Right.
because the next 4 years, you do college and everything
Yeah.
like that changes. And I was like, okay, cool. I took off to Europe. I went to Germany, UK, and France. And I had the greatest time of my life there. But it changed the way I viewed basketball too. The aggression Europe has was unlike anything I had seen. And one thing that was like a massive eye-opener was when I was on the court, they were like, more. And I was like, more what?
More.
And they were like, more aggression, more speed, more everything. Like, what are you doing?
Everything that the other guy didn't accept you for, now they want
Everything
that times 10.
Yeah, everything Australia didn't want me to do,
Wow.
they wanted more of it. And I will never forget that day because I literally stood there on the court. I swear to God, it felt like a solid minute. And I was like, everything that they said they hated about me, they want more. And I don't understand because I've never been told to give more of it.
Right.
And I just remember being like, Tat, lock in. Like, it's mid-game. Thank God the girls at the free throws. But I was like, this is crazy. And that was the thing, though. Those girls did give me more. And they were beating my ass. And I was like, this. Like, you ain't gonna bully me. Like, more, say less. More it is. And and I think it was trying to find the medium between too much and enough. And I learned that quickly in Europe. But yeah, NCAA changed everything. And to answer your question in short, that was a whole long story.
Great story.
But yeah, 22, 23. And then I was asked by WWE at 24? Give or take? 24, 25?
Now, you're in Europe when this happened.
No, I was back in Australia.
Okay.
So you
went back home.
So I went back home and I was still training and everything like that, but I was trying to decide whether to give it up or not. And this was really, really difficult for me. Like, I cannot tell you how many nights I cried. How many nights I cried about letting the love of my life go. And it was just really difficult for me. And that was the thing. It was like, I'm getting slightly older. Like, what have I done other than being an athlete? Like, I've done modeling and everything like that, but I'm like, there's so much more to me.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with just being an athlete, but I was never just an athlete. And my mom knew that. And which is why my mom really encouraged the modeling thing. And, the acting thing later on and all of that mess. And that's how I jumped into TV shows. I was Australia's youngest ever Ninja Warrior.
What?
Yeah.
Like the Ninja Warrior.
Yep.
I love that show.
Yeah. And there's also a story there. And then I also jumped in later on into like a couple short films. And then I jumped in later as Storm Reed's stunt double. And then later I got into Gladiators Australia and I played Comet. And that's kind of like where it started from, like my mom really encouraging me at 16. And I remember my first ever job. Holy dooly, this is not promotion, but McDonald's, what we call Macca's back home.
Wait, McDonald's is called what in Australia?
Macca's.
Macca's?
Say it like I'm going to Macca's.
I'm going to Macca's. Okay.
It was
Donald, you just said Donald. We're going to Macca's. Whatever.
Macca's,
Donald
right?
gonna be there for Donald. We ain't there for that. We're here for Macca's.
He'll show up. We're here for Macca's. I remember it, and I'll never forget it because this was the first time in my life I had been ass at my job. And it was just, in short, like the job was basically we had to fake spraying a water gun. Me and this other young lady who I've never met. And that's the thing, when you turn up to a job, you don't necessarily know the person you're going to be working with, and you got to figure it out.
Right.
And so, like, I'm 16, figuring out what's going on. And basically all I remember was the job was $3,000 and I was 16 and I was like, $3,000?
Easy.
I'm like, to do what? And they were like, you're going to pretend to shoot a water gun and like kind of like muck around with another girl. I was like, say less, I'll be there. I get there, makeup's done, like your fit is on. I'm thinking this is real water, right? No, they go, okay. The female director was like, okay, you're going to pretend like you're squirting one another and there's no water, so you really need to sell it. I didn't know they were going to add the water later.
Okay.
Like post effects.
Right.
I'm like, okay, easy. God, I really that up.
You up pretending to shoot water?
Because for starters, I didn't know this girl from a bar of soap.
Right.
I was 16. Like, I'm not as charismatic as I am now.
Okay.
But like, I was just like, this is stupid. This is stupid. Why not real water? And I said to them, can we have like a little bit of water so she can at least respond kind of real? They're like, no, because your hair and the makeup and the clothes, and then we got to do it real.
Right.
And they're like, it's a mess. Oh my God. I remember being like, I don't know if this is for me, if I can't do this. I can't act. I can't even act with a water gun.
I can't even pretend to shoot water.
I said, I finished the job, and this is where it changed for me. I remember finishing that job. The director barely gave me the time of day. She said, thank you. Didn't look at me, nothing. Basically, like, gave as many times as she possibly could to get this scene. And I don't blame her because I was really bad. And I remember leaving and I was looking out the ground and I called my mom and I was like, that was horrible. That was horrible. Now, someone who holds himself to such a high degree, even at this age.
Right.
I was like, Tat, what the f-? Like, you couldn't follow direction? You couldn't fake it? And I remember like calling an Uber and like waiting outside. And I was like, never, ever, ever again will I feel this incompetent in my life. Again. I said, I refuse. And I was like, no matter what job I do, that we're never going to have this again.
Right.
And we never had it again. Right? Never say never. But like, it was the first and the last time for me. Every job I did after, great. Exactly what the director wanted, killed it, shots look amazing. A lot of the commercials that I did, because they got so good, they just ended up throwing me to commercials because it's movement. And I understood camera angles and lighting and all this extra stuff that other talent didn't care about.
Because you've been doing it for so long.
I became obsessed with it. I like ended up later on in my like 20s, when I would go on set, they'd be like, all right, Tat, what do you think? These are the people that are in charge of this whole shoot, which is not just like $20K. No. You're talking like thousands and thousands of dollars for campaigns for top brands. Some all over the world, some just in Australia. And they'd be like, what does that look like? I'm like, Gatorade was one. Gatorade was a big one. There was this gentleman, I've unfortunately forgotten his name, but He was the main director. Everyone was very
They ain't make
scared
you
of
pretend
him.
to drink Gatorade, right? Like this is a real
No, I was drinking that Gatorade because I was
good.
like, I'm gonna do it for the bit. I'm gonna do it for the plot. You know what I mean? Everybody else like pretends and spits that out.
Yeah.
I got sick. I got sick. So like, that was an 8-hour shoot. That was 8 to 10 hours.
8 hours of drinking Gatorade. Your electrolytes were through the roof.
Listen, it got to the point the last 2 hours I said, I'm so sorry, sir. Can I get a bucket? Because I'm feeling sick. I was like, and they had me shooting a 3-ball and my stomach was just like, it was up and down, moving around. I could feel it in my head. I was like, I'm so sorry, sir. I know I've been drinking it the whole time, but can I get a bucket this time? He's like, I told you not to keep drinking it. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was trying to do it. I thought we weren't going to do it so much. Anyway, but he asked me for a lot of direction on, you know, how this would look with a basketball and things like that. Like, he was like, can you do it like this and like this? I'm like, well, not to be rude, being respectful. I said, sir, but this is what it looks like, and it's not going to look like how you think on camera. I said, I can do something similar for what you want. He's like, all right, show me. It was like some between the leg crossover thing. And I was like, okay. And I've got it on my page somewhere. But he was like, that looks so much better. So anyway, here I am directing half this Gatorade shoot. Later did I find out that like only MJ has done such a shoot. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
I'm like, what? Like, I'm not even a pro at this point, like technically. Like I'm not on any professional team.
You are a pro.
I am a pro. My status is pro.
Yes.
But I'm not on any team.
Right.
Like current active professional basketball player. I wasn't on any team or anything. And when they had mentioned like MJ being the only person that has kind of done something similar, I was like, honored. Honored. This is about to be the best you ever seen.
How many more Gatorades I need? Ah.
But like, and that was the thing. I was chosen not only for like my look, my portfolio, everything like that, over actual Olympian players.
Wow. And
it was even a girl that I, you know, used to train with and play with, Shyla Hill, who played for the Australian team. She also jumped into WNBA, and I hated it because they were like, can you ankle break her? I said, I'm sorry? I said, you want me to ankle break an Olympian? They said, yeah, you know.
Go ahead, just do it.
Go ahead, just do it. I pulled the director aside. I said, sir, respectfully. I was like, she's a teammate of mine. And I mean, any day of the week I would do this, but because it's going to be on camera and you're going to see her face.
Right.
I was like, can we just switch her out? I'm like, just switch her out. He was like, no. I said, wow. I went up to her. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to collect your ankles on this one. I was like, I already asked if I could change it. And he said, no. And I felt horrible. It was the first time ever I had felt bad.
Did you take them ankles?
I took them ankles.
You had to take them ankles. You had to take them ankles.
Right. And she did a great job selling it. I knew she didn't want to sell it, but I was like, this is what it is. And like, I tried my best. And this, again, being selfless. I wasn't thinking about my like reputation being like, oh yeah, I took her ankles like for a commercial. Psh, one up on me. Like,
you just trying to be a teammate, a friend, a girl's
teammate,
girl. Yeah.
girl, friend. I'm like, you have other people that are not at her level behind her.
Yeah.
Pretending to play defense. Just chucking one of them. And like, yeah, it was the first time I had ever made such a request.
How are you doing modeling, Gatorade, you're doing the Ninja Warrior, and then WWE just calls you on a Tuesday?
Not that simple.
Okay.
So like everything takes time. It's always something I mention to people.
Right.
Like I didn't just get here one day. Like it started off with basketball. Basketball taught me everything I needed to know to be in this position. Mm-hmm. How to get knocked down and get back up. How to be disciplined about time. And then, you know, your time management. Modeling then taught me a lot about time management and knowing when to open my mouth, when not to. How to take direction, as well as have an understanding of how you look on camera and things to do with like lighting and, you know, even a little bit of finance in that. But like I didn't just go to these jobs and and be like, okay, it's another job. No, I really dived into it. And so like, just like basketball, I became obsessed with that. I became obsessed with the modeling world and how things worked. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like I've done this, I've done commercials, I've done, e-com, I've done all of that. What's next? And I was like, I dabbled in Ninja Warrior when I was 18. So I beat like the youngest male they ever had. His name was Tarzan. Wow. I was younger than him.
You beat a man named Tarzan in a TV show called Ninja Warrior.
Wait, I didn't beat him. Hold on, pause. I beat him in age. That man was phenomenal. Okay. Hold on.
His name is Tarzan.
He was phenomenal. And like, I have no idea what he's doing now, but he was phenomenal.
He's in a jungle.
I had beat him by like 4 months in age. And so then I had taken away his youngest ever title. And I was like, I better kill this. And then I, fast track, I was like, I'm going to try this Gladiators TV show. Now, most of the cast picked for that show knew someone like that was part of that production.
Right.
I applied like everybody else. Every person that applied for that TV show also was like sitting there with my application next to them.
Wow.
I didn't ask anyone to be put in this TV show. I remember seeing it on my Instagram being like, do I? And I applied through my phone.
Wow.
And so when everyone asked me like, how'd you get noticed? You know the application you signed? Yeah. I signed it. Oh. They're like, you didn't get asked to be put in? No. And that was the funny thing. I put in my application, you do a little video when you write your responses and whatever else. And they call me and they're like, Tatyanna, we see that you've put forward to be a contendant, And I was like, yeah, I would love to be.
Right.
And I was like, they were like, why? I was like, because I want to show you guys that the gladiators you pick ain't
Tarzan and everything.
Right? And the girl starts laughing on the phone. She said, okay, we love that. But how would you feel about being a gladiator? And I paused. I said, no. I said, let me tell you why. You're going to try and pick the best all over Australia. If I'm going to compete, I want to compete against the best.
Right.
I was like, so no. I want to be a contender. And I want to show you guys that the women that you have me going up against ain't no matter what they've done before. I was like, you've never seen anyone like me. I said, especially when I get competitive, especially when I get passionate. She's like, okay. She goes, let us circle back to you. A couple days later, she calls me again. Tatyanna, we're calling back again. We would really, really love for you to be a gladiator.
Yo, gladiator.
Is there any way we can have you in like being a gladiator instead of a contendant? I declined again. My boss at the time, I was working for a Jewish school. I like told him about it, and I was like, my ego won't let this happen. Right. I want to show them that everyone that they picked. I
ain't no goddamn gladiator. Stop calling me about it.
Everyone they picked, I got him. He looks at me, right, and he's an older gentleman. He looks at me, he says, I want you to leave this session right now. I'm coaching my girls. He goes, leave this session right now. Make that call and be a gladiator.
What?
I said, I'm coaching. He's like, I can handle the girls. Go pick up that phone and call them back.
Be a gladiator.
I looked at him and I was like, he's like, go. I'm like, okay. Pick up the phone. I'm like, this is stupid. This is stupid. I already like stood on business.
Right.
Call up. I forgot this woman's name.
Hey, Cheryl. It's me.
Right? I'm like, I'm calling back. And I'm like, calling back because I was thinking about your offer.
I had time to sit with it.
I had time to sit with it. And I would love to be a gladiator. Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, Tatyanna, great. Would love to have you. We're going to like send you what we want. Yada, yada, yada.
You should have been like, I was confused. I thought you meant gladiator, like scandal, you know what I mean? Different gladiator. I would love to be on your show.
She goes, great. I walk back in and I'm like, done. He goes, great. He goes, now we can have a proper conversation about why I did that, why I made you do that. I was like, okay. I sat back and he's like, there is so much more of an opportunity for you as a gladiator than there is a contendant, right? He goes, because if you don't win, he goes, let's say you have a bad day. And he goes, you don't win. He goes, that's where the opportunity closes. He goes, as a gladiator, you are seen on 10 to 12 episodes, day in, day out. You get paid for it. And he goes, not only that, but your face is everywhere.
Smart.
I was like, right. I was like, let my ego win. And my ego isn't very big. It's quite small in comparison to other people. It's
from the person that said, I don't want to be a gladiator because I want to show you your gladiators. Hey,
yeah.
But my ego cool.
But like, when that's
it's
me
contained.
competitive. Yeah. You know what? We have our little ego in a box. And like in that moment, it was probably the only time in my life where I let it just kind of run free. And I was like, I nearly lost an opportunity because my ego was too big. We never let it out of the box again. Because my mom always raised me to be like, I don't know if humble's the right word, but
humble's a great word.
It is, but it isn't.
Why?
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a balance between like being hungry and content, like an in the middle.
Okay.
And I feel like the way people use it nowadays is not the correct way. Like everyone's like, I'm humble. I'm like, no, you're an arrogant piece of shit. Using humble to cover up your arrogance and ego.
Okay.
You're using it wrong.
Some people, yes.
Right. And so I feel like it's not something I really truly just do not get behind. I like the word grounded. And I say grounded because I'm never too high, I'm never too low. I'm in the middle. And when I'm too high, I feel like the universe reminds me very quickly to remain in the middle. You know, universe, God, whatever you believe in,
right.
Your faith, it reminds me very quickly. And so I really find it difficult to be egotistical, or I don't think I could ever go below that because I know my worth. Right. And I know how hard I've worked to get here. And I'm not going to go ahead and minimize my dreams to make others feel better about themselves. I have people I'm fighting for, and my mom is number one on that list. My mom deserves the world, and I refuse to let anyone stand in my way. You know what I mean? So I know some people will be like, humble's a great word. I'm not mad at
grounded.
Grounded,
solid.
You're not too high, you're not too low.
Yeah,
you're in the middle.
Solid.
You're grounded, you're 10 toes down, you're exactly where you need to be. And like, yeah, I mean, I hear Logan Paul say, I'm humble. I'm like,
yeah, it's his whole song.
I'm like, so, yeah, I've completely lost track. I mean,
you're a gladiator now.
I'm a gladiator now. And my brief was easy. Basically, be Tat. We want you to be aggressive, passionate. We want Comet to come out and like make everyone feel like this is their end. I'm like, say less. Say less. Everyone else.
Them up.
Yeah. Everyone else other than like maybe Chaos. Chaos is very much herself, which is a girl that was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Bodybuilder, former bodybuilder. And she's just crazy. Like she was just herself. I feel like everyone did a pretty good job. Others got a brief, and I didn't get much of a brief. I honestly got one line.
Wow.
You know, Comet was supposed to be ferocious and, you know, just turned up another level. Like I was supposed to be dirty, and like I was supposed to have smack just ready, like everything, which is what I did.
Right.
And like, but you do see me lose, and I think it's a great medium in how they shot that. And you know, there's a few battle scars from that, and there's even like a few little videos they made for the YouTube. So there's some idea of what it's like to be a gladiator. And it's tough. It was really tough. And I think that really set me up for WWE. And like that's a whole nother thing in itself. And which is why I tell people, like, when you're coming up and you want to be seen by such a large corporation, like $1 billion corporation,
right?
Everything matters, from the way you present yourself to the way that you articulate yourself, to the way that your portfolio looks, to the way that your social media looks, how you respond to people. All of that is taken into consideration.
Wow.
a 3-second clip, and I don't even think it's 3 seconds, of me calling out a contestant on a TV show led me to a tryout in Elimination Chamber. 2 to 3 second clip. It's literally me calling out another contestant saying, what did I say? Keep in mind, the motive behind that was the whole production team said I couldn't beat this girl. Because, for starters, I don't rock climb. But that was the game at the time.
Right.
And they said, there's no way you've got her. She's about to climb to the top. I said, oh, is that what you think? All right, bet. So, like, I remember this because when I pulled her ass down after 2 steps on the wall, this is the 3-second, 2-second cut that they got. I said, what did I say? And as soon as I did this, it cuts, goes Gladiators, boom, boom, boom. I literally have it on my page. And every time someone asks me, like, how'd you get it? I say, you see this little clip? I scroll all the way to the end. I kid you not, this is probably how they found me. And that was the thing. It was a week and a half before Elimination Chamber. I get a message. I didn't even know they were having tryouts.
Right.
I get a message. Hi, Tatyanna. You know, WWE is interested in giving you a tryout. Would you be interested? I'm like, this is a lie, bro. Like, this is some spam account.
Right.
I'm like, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose, Tat? Nothing.
Hopefully you didn't click on some links and they steal your account or nothing. You didn't lose a lot.
There was no links.
Okay, just making sure.
Right. But I didn't believe it. And I was like, but I have nothing to lose. And this was in my request, like, section of my messages. And now and then I'll go through each one just in case I miss something.
Right.
You know, and I clicked it and I was like, do I do it? Do I risk it? I have nothing to lose. At this point, I wasn't playing basketball. I was just a coach. And I was like, I said, hi, like, I would love to. They're like, great, cool, we're going to send you all this stuff. I'm like, wait, what's the date? I'm like, it's a week and a half away. There is no way you can prep for a tryout in a week and a half. They were like, we're going to send you flight details. Just send us your name, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, this is real.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. Get there. And when I get there, I have to tell you, this is probably the hardest tryout that I've ever heard about. We get there. We go through the whole, like, process and, like, you get your shirt and everything like that. They do your medical. They make sure you're okay, which is, like, the scariest thing. Not that there was anything ever medically wrong with me. Thank up above.
Amen. Hallelujah.
But, you know, just in case, there were standards that you have to meet. And I was worried. Like, they were like, your blood pressure's a little low. I'm like, oh, this is how I go? I made it, and this is how I go.
I know they were doing physical for. I'll never be in the WWE now. We doing blood pressure?
Everything.
Oh.
Everything, right? Day one. It's like military camp. I'm like, I'm strong and all, but like 20 push-ups to endless squats to push-ups to squats again.
Oh,
one after another.
Push-up and squat.
And like they will count. Everyone's got to count. 1, 2.
No.
Wow, okay, cool. The first day, I'm like, okay. It was on that day. Let me give you a tip. Don't ever piss me off in a promo. Don't ever piss me off. We get to a promo class, and this guy who's a wrestler, he decides to on athletes. Now, I understand why wrestlers do that, but don't on athletes that are genuinely here for the business and want to try.
Right.
And make the business proud. They genuinely give a about it. He comes in and starts like crapping on all of us. I'm like, okay. Keep in mind, we don't know any of these people. We just met them. It's a mini auditorium. You have the coaches, the selectors, all that mess sitting in front of us.
So the wrestler doing it is currently wrestling now.
I haven't checked on him. I think he is.
Okay.
I think he is. But yeah, he cut a promo. So we do like your physical, your promo, then we do a physical again.
Right.
If I remember correctly. We do a promo. And I remember looking at this particular girl who I'd made friends with really quickly. Her name is Emily. She didn't make it, but she is a great rugby player and was the reason why she got there. And she looks at me. Now, this girl's known me for less than 24 hours, right? She looks at me, she goes, and I was like, So the guy goes, the wrestler, he starts on athletes and starts saying how we don't deserve to be there, that we're just given the opportunity. And I understand, right? But keep in mind, the athletes in the room were not just any athletes. They were the best of their field, right? In Australia, the best of their field. Some of us had millions of followers. Like, I really didn't pay attention to social media like I should have back then, because I was like, top internal companies know who I am. I don't need to do all this mess.
Social media?
I don't care.
I mean, Gatorade.
Right, I should have.
Gladiator.
I should have, but I didn't. Anyway, we had like athletes with millions of followers, everything like that. Great at what they did. Comes in, starts like on us. Girl turns around. There was Zaria, I think like 2 people after him, and I was the last person, right? So I'm cutting a promo, and then I remember what this guy said about how we don't deserve to be here. I called him out close to immediately about how he ain't worth it. Right. I finished my promo, and I realized I had called out someone during a tryout, which they said not to do. But I said, everything about my call out is valid. Everything. I said, you think you can walk into a room and think you're above us? I was like, you're out of your mind. And like, I said this to him. The room went quiet. And the gentleman who is the promo guy, Katsy, he just starts clapping and he starts laughing. And I'm like, oh, I'm about to lose this because like I did what they said don't do. Right. This guy comes up to me at lunchtime. We're all like in a circle. He pulls up his seat and squeezes himself between me and this other girl named Taylor. He comes up to me and goes, Tat, we're good, right? We're good. I said, we're good. But don't you ever on athletes again. Long story short, like the following day, I had Triple H come in, Rhea come in, Grayson come in, just to watch the tryout. My second ever promo in my life was cut in front of Rhea.
Wow.
And it was on the fly. Katsy was like, Tat, come through. Like, Tatyanna, cut your promo. I was like, on what? He's like, just cut a promo for me. I'm like, oh my Lord. I have Rhea Ripley in front of me and I just on the fly promo. I cut it and I said to her, I am so sorry you had to witness that. She goes, honestly, for your second promo, that's better than anything I had ever done when I had started.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, like, thank you so much. Like, it was thank you though. Like, in my head, I was like, okay, something's there.
Yeah.
Something's there. Lightning ring, like at the end, I was like, it was average. But like, we had opportunity after opportunity to show something different. And every time there was a promo opportunity, I really took it. And my last promo on the last day, I think is what really set me apart. And they gave everyone, you know, a piece of advice. So like, if you lose track of your promo, tell us about your day. This is William Regal telling us this. He's like, tell us about your day and you know, what you did.
If you lose track of yourself.
If you lose track, right? You're like, yeah, I've lost track. I'm calling out somebody. Like, tell us about your day. I was like, no, that's how you, like, you really lose track.
Right.
For me, personally. Anyway, I get up there. I start my promo with a stomp the yard beginning. I don't know what you... Because I'm looking for this difference, right? I'm like, I have the charisma to do this. Mm-hmm. You know what? Stump the yard. I watched that growing up as a kid. You know what? I want to be different. I don't want to start the promo being like, I am who I say I am. I'm Tatyana. No, let's be different. I come in full stumping, everything like this. Right. And great promo. I like lose track for a second. I have William Regal sitting in front of me. I lose track. I look down. And when you look down in a way, that's how you kind of let the audience know that you've kind of lost it a little bit. He goes, so tell us about your day. And I went, no. I look at him and say, no. And I'm like, oh my God. I just told William Regal, no. I was like, I'm fired.
He's trying to help you. You talking about no.
I'm like, I'm fired. You know what? I may as well finish a promo. I didn't finish as strong as I wanted. but I finished. And I think that's kind of what set me apart. They saw the passion. They saw, the discipline to start something and finish it.
They saw you push through it.
Saw me push through it. And I said to them, like, it wasn't a strong finish. The beginning was better. But I didn't just tell you about my day. I finished what I started. And I remember leaving, and for the first time in a very, very long time, I was really happy about what I had produced. And that's very rare for me. Like, I really genuinely...
Because you're so hard on yourself about other things.
I'm my hardest critic. And, like, that's why in LFG, like, Bubba's like, get out of your own head. Get out. Because, like, you're basically, like, defeating yourself before the battle's even begun. But again, I hold myself to such a high standard that small things that don't go right, I'm like, that's not how I expected it to go. But you later, like, learn that it's just a part of the process. And the more you fail, the quicker, you get better. And the more you learn. And so, like...
I mean, it obviously worked out great for you because...
It did. But that was the first time, like I said, I finished a try and I was genuinely really, really happy. And I was like, you know what? Even if I don't make it, I can still tell my kids one day that I got a WWE tryout.
Look, by this point, you done beat Tarzan being the youngest. You was a gladiator. You was a speed racer on the basketball court. You was a model. You was a 30-minute college student before they took that from you. And you told William Regal no.
Right. It's all these, like, small things. And to me, like, they are genuinely small. I feel like there's so much more to me. And I have so much more to give. And I think when you have people like Dwayne and Danny, like, around you, you really do look at them and be like, sometimes things just take time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the potential is there, but some things take time. And, they have several years on me. And I'm like, if I get to their age and I'm exactly where I want to be at a level that, like, similar to them,
right?
Like, I did everything that I was supposed to. Like, I'm about to be 27. You know what I mean? I still have, in comparison to them, an extra, this is not to, like, air out their age, but I'm like, I still have, like, an extra 30 years.
Easily. You got time, no rush.
What do you mean? Okay, bet. But yeah, I remember finishing that tryout, being really happy with it. And then they made us wait 3 weeks. Now, they said they get back to us in a week or two. So, like, 2 weeks goes by. I'm like, I didn't make it. I didn't make it.
Should have told him about my day. I had a ham sandwich.
I was like, I didn't make it. Oh.
3 weeks is a long time to be waiting for.
I was waiting. I was itching. I was getting, like, irritated. I was looking at my phone. I was like, duh. I'm like, okay, just relax. They give me a call. And basically, in short, I found out Zari was the only girl picked. No men were picked. And I was like, okay, cool. And
they waited 3 weeks to tell you they picked one person?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember being like, oh, wow, 2 women only. One was a wrestler, one was not. And I was like, this is interesting. Later, I found out that they were like, your in-ring is average and your promo is what got you over the line. And I had a gentleman named Trent give me a call. And I remember I was at, like, Hornsby Basketball Stadium, basically just out nowhere. No reception. This guy calls me, Trent. I'm like, hello? He's like, hey, Tatyanna, this is Trent from WWE. There is no signal. I'm like, Trent, hold on. I'm like,
standing on the roof,
I'm looking at this. I'm like, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm out nowhere, and I'm here. I'm listening. He's like, your in-ring wasn't what, like, we were most impressed with. He goes, but your promo was, and your ability to showcase that you can get better over time in such a short amount of time, with delivery, with your passion, and how confident you are. He goes, I just wanted to offer you one of 2 WWE contracts. And I remember just, like, saying nothing for a second, and I just started crying. And in my head, I was like, I did it. Like, I did it. And I called my mom after the conversation with Trent, and I was like, Mom, I just want to let you know that I did it. And my mom was like, you got it? I said, yeah. I was like, I did it. Like, I did it. And like, this is my time to like accomplish everything I said that I would do for you. And like, I was just crying, and like my mom was crying, and my mom was like, so you're going to leave me? And I was like, yeah, Mom, I have to. Like, I have to. Like, throughout my whole career, I always came back home. I always left and came back home. I always came to the States for a couple months, come back home, visit my mom. Then I would leave a couple months later.
Right.
And so like my mom was used to me leaving, but now I was going for good pretty much. And my mom knew that. My mom always knew that I would never really stay home because of opportunity and like how driven I am and how much more I want out of this world and this life and everything like that. Yeah, we got there. We had 3 weeks to prepare, and they basically sent us to the US, and me and Zaria didn't touch the ring for about a month and a half because of medical. And then I get into the ring probably for 3 weeks until they go, LFG season 1, these people please come up. And I'm like, what is that? What is that? What do you mean?
LFG.
I was like, I just got in the ring. Other people been here for months. I'm like, the last group has been here for like 2 to 3 months already. What is that?
Wait, so did you know you were going for LFG?
I had no idea. So this is the thing. They were like, all right, you're going to do an audition. I'm like, audition? I'm like, first couple weeks in audition. Heck yeah. Little did I know it was for LFG. They didn't really mention it. They just said an audition. They said, be yourselves, cut a promo, and tell us who you are.
Wow.
I told them who I was. Next minute, 3 weeks later, I've only been in the ring for 3 weeks. I'm learning the ropes. I'm learning everything like that. Tatyana Dumas, can you please like meet up in the arena? Okay, cool. All these people are like, yeah, it's LFG. I'm like, what is that? Like,
everybody's just saying letters.
Yeah, I'm like, huh? They're like, oh, legends
ABC. 1, 2, 3. What are we doing? What are we saying?
They're like legends and like future greats. I'm like, what is that? I remember like doing a little video, and I have a whole like Against All Odds series, and I remember being like legends, and I like completely botched the whole title. And later I look at it, I'm like, oh, God, you're an idiot. I'm like, but whatever, this is real.
Right.
This is real. And I think it was literally like 6 weeks in of being in the ring. They were like, your first match. I'm like, sorry? They're like, yeah, we're going to bring everyone from the PC to watch. Not only that, but there's 4 legends that are going to be sitting there judging you.
You don't know you're on this TV show yet.
Wait, so we went to the arena. They told us, like, everyone sit down. They start giving it, like, Shawn Michaels gives a whole, like, mini, like, congratulations. I'm like, out the mud, beginning. This is how it starts. Great. Like, you know what I mean? Here comes stardom. I'm like, cool. Then he announces it. And I'm still like, okay, it's a TV show. It's a reality TV show. I got this in the bag. No problem. I've done 2 before. This is my background. And like, it wasn't until like weeks later and we start filming. They're like, Tat, you have your first match. I'm like, I don't know how to wrestle. They're like,
told him this, like,
I don't know how to wrestle. The girl I was with had been there for like 6 months already. And I was like,
because who was your first match against?
Lee Laurel.
Okay, yeah.
She was my first match. And like I said on the show, she did an amazing job leading me through it. Like, she did a great job as a lead. And that's what you really need when you're starting out. And like, I definitely gave her flowers. Like, definitely. And it wasn't that I needed her, but she did a great job in really just guiding me through everything.
Right.
And I didn't forget anything. And I know Bob was like, she forgot. And I was like, no, I didn't forget. I was like, I was trying to involve character moments, which is what I'm good at. It's entertaining people first. I'm like, it's not about the win or the loss or about the wrestling. It's still about entertainment.
Right.
And I think some people forget that. The wrestling is cool. I love wrestling. Like, I'm still learning so much about it. But your job is still to entertain. And like, I can talk crap forever and keep people entertained and still like, I can still lose and still have people want to boo me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and like, I'd done a pretty good job at entertaining, finding this great balance between entertaining and wrestling when I had done a a live show match with Carmen Petrovic, and I did an injury spot, and try and keep it kayfabe, but trying my best here. But I was like booed from the moment I had entered, like I had gone through the curtains,
Right.
to the point that I like basically clocked her and pretended that like something was wrong with me. Like they were yelling crap under the sun, and I was like, okay, I'm finding this balance. I'm not sure of it just yet, but like I will figure it out. But I was like, okay, I'm doing somewhat of a pretty good job at like making them want to fucking just hate me and still getting through a simple match. Like, great, cool. And this is like later on. But yeah, for LFG, my first match, I was like, oh God. And like, I wanted to cry. Like, because I was so nervous and I was so worried about something going wrong. And I would never want to hurt my partner ever. And I was just like, everyone thinks I'm going to fail. And that was enough fuel for me to be like, say less.
Now, I don't remember watching the season. Did they pick the teams before the match, or did they pick the teams after seeing you guys?
So they had done it like they were picking us after, right?
But
and
they had already picked it, I'm assuming. And then, okay.
It's a
TV
TV show. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to hate on me for being honest, it's a TV show.
Yeah.
And like, you work with what you've got.
Mm-hmm.
And so they divided each of the talent between what best suit the TV show.
Right.
And so like, of course I'm going to go to Bubba.
Because you had Bubba the first season.
Like, of course me and BJ are going to go to Bubba. Like,
the
two most outspoken individuals, like, talking we're going to give him hell. And that's great. That's great TV.
It's amazing TV.
Right?
And Bubba will give it right back.
And give it right back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I think people don't realize how quick the turnaround was between season 1 and 2. It was
fast.
It was a week and a half.
Wow.
Like, we had done it. We had gone on like a week and a half break from the company, which means you don't get to train in a ring. And then you were back for a week and a half. And then they were like, season 2. I was like, sorry, I don't have new gear. I was like, who do you think is going to make my gear in a week? Like, this was the difficult part, juggling all of this. And people really did come for me online.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, like I said, I watched the show. Yeah, you didn't get the light that I think you should have. I was rooting for you, but I feel like you were battling so much, being so new and being experienced. Then they were telling you, like you said, you forgot things, or you were doing moves that were putting your partner at risk. I don't know how much of that was TV and how much of that was actually going on.
So here's the thing. It was like, I'm never going to say no unless I'm genuinely uncomfortable and believe I can't do it.
Right.
Like, I was like, I can pick girls up, I can slam girls, no problem. But I think it was the expectation that they had of me was so high that I was like, I just walked in the building. I get it. You've told me I look the part. Like, I have the charisma, which can't be taught. I have the promo ability. Like, to me, in my head, I'm like, all of these can be like perfected. And like, so when you're telling me this, it doesn't boost my ego. It's like, okay, thank you so much. Let me find a way to be the best in the business at these things.
Yeah.
That's going to take time and reps, and I'm aware of that. But I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you so much. But I'm like, the expectation you have of me just walking in the door is a lot. I'm like,
is it filmed real time? Like, as you're seeing the comments, are you still filming episodes and they're coming out?
No. So this is how I was like able to see it, because honestly, if it was real time,
you would have probably missed all that.
I wouldn't have seen it. No, like I wouldn't have. But that's the thing. When people are like on me, I'm like, okay, like it doesn't hurt me because I'm real with myself. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, I'm the best here. I'm like, girl's been in here for like 2 years. Like, if I'm here for 6 weeks, like now we're edging to like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to compare myself to 2 years. Like, this is not.
It's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm real. But like, there are some valid points like, your gear isn't it. I'm like, I know, sweetie. I only had a week and a half. I had to figure something out of my ass. Like,
I almost came with my gladiator gear. Like, I didn't have this plan.
I did.
Did you?
Hold on. So one of my gears was from the Gladiator series. I had gotten our seamstress to just patch it up because I had no gear.
Wow.
And I was like, they want something new. I'm like, this is me still. Let's add some like Crocodile Dundee look to it.
Yeah.
Like, Sue, can you please like just fix this up? I got you. Okay, cool. Thank you. I walk out there. I'm like, okay, this is what we got. Because, fun fact, but my mom made me my first gear. And so the first black set that I wore in my first match was made by my mom. And I was just like trying my best to wear that as much as I could until they said something. They said something like off the bat. And I was like, ah! I was like, okay. I had no idea who to contact for gear, which is something you have to figure out yourself because not every gear maker is for you. We had no time. I was just like figuring out what like in-ring boots I liked. Like all this extra stuff that you don't have time for. You know what I mean? Like you really are learning on the fly. I was learning everything on the fly. What gear looked good, what boots I wear, like what is slip ring in the ring, what isn't, how to run the ropes, how to give a hip toss, which I got shat on for a long time. But I'm like, if you know wrestling, like it takes two to tango. Everything we do takes two to tango. Right? And like, if you don't want to tango, then like, you're going to get muscled. And like, I prefer not to do that because I'm like, dance with me. Like, work with me.
Right.
But like, still tell a good story. Don't sell our business out. Like, tell a good story with me. And if you want to beat my ass, then make it real. Make me fight for real.
Did they really coach you in their senses, or is it kind of like the TV they coach you and then, you know, cameras is off and they got a whole other system going?
I'm always a student of the game that I enter.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it is a reality TV show. And they figured it out from the beginning that the reality TV show thing wasn't it. You know what I mean? Like that recipe wasn't it because we weren't learning.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the time we were not training. So like the only matches and training we were getting was those matches.
Wow.
And
the ones on the show.
Yeah, so we were learning on the fly.
Jesus.
A lot of us were learning on the fly. Like, you know, Serena and Bailey, like they were younger than me, like coming in and like they were learning on the fly just as much. And I was still trying to figure out what my style might be and what does that look like. And I'm not as big as like, I'm not as big as Bailey. You know what I mean? Like muscle wise, height wise, I'm like, okay, I'm in this ugly medium. Like, what does that look like? Can I still be a powerhouse? Am I a good baby face, a bad baby face? Am I a good heel? Am I a one? Like all of this stuff I'm learning on the fly.
Right.
I have no idea. And like, it's not an excuse, but like when you're watching these shows, give people grace. Like you have no idea where they are in their journey. And everyone learns at a different speed. Like I'm a technician. I have to like dissect everything and then put it back together and be like, all right, cool. Now I've got it in the chamber. No need to do it again. No problem. But like there are some people that pick up things, they look at it and go, yeah, okay, cool. No problem. Or there's the rep kids, which is like also partially me. It's like, okay, cool. Dissect, put it together, rep. There are some kids that are like, all right, let's just do 3 times or 5 times or 7 times. And then like, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think people understand how close the seasons were. And I saw the comments and I was like, yeah, you know what? Some of you are right. Some of you would never even last 30 seconds in a ring. So why am I giving you my time?
As somebody who did 1 time in a ring, and I thought I was going into that ring, and I said, boy, I'm doing a swanton, and I said, I'm going to do the people's elbow, and I'm jumping off the rope. I said, I don't care if I'm in the ER after. I'm going to do this. And I put 1 foot on that step. Not even the ring, the step to get into the ring. And I said, I'm not doing none of that shit. And then I stepped on the actual ring. I said, nope. And they said, so what do you want to do? I said, I want to talk. Give me a microphone. Let me say, yerp, hi, and I will leave. They're like, nah, you got to do something. What can I do where I don't have to move too much from this spot? It's a whole different experience when you actually step on a ring.
When you're in the ring, and like I was very open, but when I had taken my first back bump and ran the ropes, I went, oh, you better lock in. You better lock in. Like I'm tough, but like, oh my back, like you have to earn your marks. So like when you're running the ropes, and like you finally run them enough, you have the bruises on your back. It's like, I heard that. Yeah, cool. But it is difficult.
Let's fucking go would be me leaving. Nah, let's go. My back hurts.
But like even the cardio, like it is unlike anything I have ever done. There is you cannot compare. And I've done all forms of cardio as a basketball player. You cannot compare the cardio in ring to anything else I've ever been a part of. It's unreal. And like, again, I don't get butthurt about people's comments, like especially like now more than ever. Like people are like, oh, she's gonna get pushed to the moon because she's dating, the Rock's daughter. It's like, listen, don't you think I would have already been pushed to the moon already? We've been together for like a year and a half.
From the time of being in LFG and WWE, when does that storyline cross for you?
Just at the end of season 1. And like we were kind of talking before then, but then like we got into a relationship and we weren't open about it because I was like to her, I don't know how this company is about things like this. And like, being bisexual, I still want to have that sex appeal to men. Right. And like, I'm not sure if that'll take it away. And like, we had this conversation about it because at the end of the day, I'm still an entertainer. But the best part is I can entertain both. And so it's like, I want to keep that. And so like, it's one of those decisions you make as a professional when to be more open with your relationship. And we chose that at the Smashing Machine premiere. And I was like, this is kind of a nice time to do it. Like, we're supporting your dad in a beautiful film showcasing his evolution. And, and he's invited me and like, I'm not going to pretend I'm your friend. Like, this is just not one of those things.
Right. It's too big of a moment.
Yeah. I'm like,
that's my homie.
Yeah. Sorry? Like, I'm not going to do that. And
that's comic. You know what I mean? My people.
But we weren't very like, we weren't hiding it. Like, she would be in my stories and we would be hanging out and like, it was just speculation at the time. But yeah, she was with me going through, like we were talking, like she would hear my experience from season 1 and then like through season 2, which was another rough one for me.
Season 2 was, I feel like, way rougher than season 1 for you.
See, but that's the thing. It was like
that's how it looked.
Yeah, season 1 was more rough for me.
Really?
Because I was dealing with a lot of like behind the scenes stuff and the way that things were being coached and like things being said to me. And like, it is really tough when you're told like, you have the look, you have the promo ability, you have the charisma, but you can't wrestle.
They kept saying, we like your outfit. And
yeah. I'm like, okay, just tell me I'm it's fine.
So my promo, my wrestling, but you like my clothes, like fashion over, like I could.
Yeah, and it was really difficult for me because I was like, just say I'm. It's okay.
Right.
You're not gonna hurt me. I know because I've only been given XYZ amount of weeks. Like, you're telling me to go and grab your years of experience and be out here in front of a crowd and make you proud. I'm like, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to do the business proud, but do you guys as legends proud because you've literally given your life to this and made it your lifetime's work. And I'm trying my best to do each one of you proud in the short amount of time I've been given. And it's not an excuse because, there've been people who have come in the business, Tiffany is one who have just killed it off the bat. And I'm like, I understand, but I'm also not going to pretend like that's going to be me. Like, you know what I mean? I'm very real in that sense. And I'm like,
and your time is your time. You don't, you know what I mean? That their journey is their journey.
That's exactly. And like when people say to me like, aren't you like worried? Like, your time hasn't come yet. And I'm like, everything that is meant for me is going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not rushing to anybody else's table. I'm going to sit at my table and I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep working until what is meant for me is served to me. And it's not like I'm just like sitting here like, well, WrestleMania's around the corner, so I should be there. It's like, no, everything I do behind the scenes that I don't showcase to you guys, like, that's my craft. I'm going to keep that quiet and don't be surprised when things are served at my table because you can't see this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yes, we have social media and I'm very honest and I show everything that I do, but I I don't showcase everything.
No, you show what you want them to see.
Yeah, like I want you guys to see the journey and be a part of it, and of course, but I'm not going to show you like me waking up 3 a.m. trying to write ideas down and promos down and everything like that. Like, that's a part of the journey, but don't be surprised when things turn up on my table. You know what I mean? Like, don't think that they were just given to me because of who I'm dating or whatever. Right. I made it here on my own merit.
Because everybody says that. I know you see the comments.
I see the comments, but I'm like, listen. If like the funniest one to me is like the push one when they're like, she's about to be push of the century. I'm like, me and him have had this conversation, and I say to him, sir, I know it'd be so easy for me to get a push.
Imagine
but
that.
Don't you dare! Like, I'm horrible, and he's like, you're not where you need to be. I'm like, I know.
And the next week you won the Royal Rumble or something. Like, yes, I did it. All because of who I'm with.
Yeah, like. It's not like these conversations aren't honest. You know what I mean? I said to him, like, he literally said to me, you have to work for everything that you have. He goes, now more than ever because of this situation. Yeah. I'm like, I understand. And I know people are like, she's going to get pushed to center, all this mess. I'm like, don't you think it would have already happened if that was going to happen?
The second y'all came out and the next day you were across from Jade or Bianca for a title shot, that's when you know you get the push.
That's the funniest one to me. And then like, this one. Sorry, Mom. But like, away at the top. I'm like, sorry, are we at the same top? Because I'm still looking like, down here. Like, you have to
I'm still trying to get boots. Is this the top?
I'm still trying to get my custom boots, bro. Like, I'm just trying to get booked.
That's
like
it.
Let me do my thing. It's just funny to me.
Well, season 2, because you went through that injury in season 2, was that a real injury or was that TV injury?
Yeah, it was a real injury.
Okay.
I suffered a really bad chest contusion, and you know, like I said on the show, it's a part of the game, and you know, I'm always gonna say it's always about the intent, and I'll leave it at that. But yeah, it was a real injury, and a lot of people are like, you're faking it. I'm like, you think I want to fake being at the hospital at like 1 a.m. and literally being strapped to an IV and having all these tests run on me? I'm like, I don't want to do all of that. Right. I'm not that type of drama queen. Let me tell you something. If I want to create drama, it's easier than doing that. Like, I just say something.
Fake getting hurt is wild.
Like, I was out for a while, and do you think it's a reality TV show? You think they want to have the loudmouth female who tells it how it is out for 6 to 7 weeks?
Right.
Think about it. If people are calling me the female version of BJ, you think they want that out?
Doesn't make sense.
He's not going to go for the women.
How did the injury affect your growth in it, though?
I mean, less reps. You're getting less reps, less TV time, less time in front of the crowd. And I genuinely love our NXT crowd. They are phenomenal. They are diehard fans, and they are there. And like, you know, they turn up and they support you no matter what you're playing. And, you know, I think it's like just getting used to that. I think for me it's a little bit different because I've been in front of a camera for forever. And I love a crowd. But I think it's just playing with different things. Like, you saw me throughout the seasons play with a lot of gear. Like, okay, this color, this look, this whatever, like, because I wasn't sold on what I was wearing. And I'm like, this is the time, if any time, to play with it now. And other talent, you know, I'm just going to keep wearing these guys. I'm going to keep, okay. Like, that's your strategy. For me, when I rewatch this, I want to see what it looks like on TV, on the massive cameras that they're using for NXT. I want to see what it looks like. What does my name look like? What does my music look like? What does the pose look like? I'm playing with everything because there is no other better time than that time.
Right.
Like, why are you not playing with things? Be the magician that figures out his next trick. Like, I'm going out there and I'm playing with everything I can. And that's literally how I took it. Like, I'm new here. I'm not going to get on an NXT TV and keep trying stuff. They're going to have this perception of me already. And I'm going to have to play that or whatever they want me to play at that time. But at least I know I've tried 6 different gears, 6 different poses. I've promoted 3 or 4 different ways. I've tried that, and I know what works for me and what doesn't. And I watch for myself. I'm like, oh God, like that was not it. Like, oh, okay, let's change that gear. Like, I know the internet lets me know. I recently came across a post like someone got my like Getty images and was like, face card never declines, but the fit, God help us. I'm like, yo, you're right. I know. I'm working on it. Give me something. Give me time. Give me something. But that's one thing you learn. You don't have a lot of time here.
Are you doing season 3?
You'll have to wait and find out. You have to wait and find out. I don't know. We'll see.
Because I think they released some names.
Yeah, they released some new names, and it's some new people. Mm-hmm. And they're going with a different strategy for this one. And, there's no teams. There's no coaches. Mm. It's really going out there and showcasing what it would feel like to be on NXT TV. And it's more of a smoothed out TV show now.
Got you.
So there'll probably be a little less drama, like maybe some honest feedback, more honest feedback that you guys get to see up front. But, it's the production's choice. And you learn very quickly in this business that things change like constantly. Last second changes. Like I learned that the hard way in season 1 and 2. Like, Tat, where's your gear? This was nothing. I didn't know I had a match. So my first ever match, I had no idea that I had it. It's 12:30. I had one girl named Chelsea come up to me and say, Tati, yeah, what's up? Where's your gear? What do you mean, what's my gear? She goes, you have a match. I was like, I have a match? I said, what do you mean? I was like, at this time, I don't have a car. Because I just got from Australia. Right. I cannot financially commit to that. I was like, I have a match? I said, Chelsea, I need to go get my gear then. She goes, okay, I'll drive you. Thank God I was like close. I was about a 6-7 minute drive. She grabs my gear. She goes, you have a match against Lee. I said, no one told me. Okay. So when do I talk to producers about it? She goes, probably when we get back. I'm like, okay. So again, it's like you have to be ready for anything. The surprises, like the last minute things, like anyone that you will talk to a main roster will mention that too. Like some just changes like that.
Right.
And you got to be ready. Like it could be your moment. It could be your moment. You have no idea. You just have to be ready. That was my moment. And I had a gut feeling about it, but I wasn't sure. And I was like, okay, like, oh, fuck. But I will give credit to Terry Taylor, who is my producer. And he said something to me that I'll never forget. And he said to me, while Bubba was like trying to rev me up, he pulled me aside and said, kid, why are you stressing? I said, I'm scared of like forgetting. Like I'm scared of something going wrong, like especially for my partner. You know what I mean? He's like, stop stressing. He goes, you know what you're doing. He goes, go out there and do it. He goes, why are you second guessing yourself? Just go do it. And to have such self-belief, like to have belief like that,
right,
which then changes your self-belief, like nearly close to instantly. I was like, I really just needed to hear that. Like someone be like, you have this. Like, what are you stressing about? Keep in mind, I have no idea if you knew that, like that was my first ever match.
Right.
But
he just saw it in your face and you could tell like.
Yeah, he was just like, you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Go out there and do it. And I did go out there and I gave a good show for my first match. And like Undertaker said himself, he's like, she went out there and was an entertainer. And yeah, I have a really massive soft spot for Terry Taylor because like he's not like your average like coach. Like he's tough and like he gives it to you honestly, and like he really did build my confidence up like behind the scenes. And even like later on out of the season, like even live shows, like he really was honest and gave me my flowers even when I wasn't getting them. And yeah, and you really need someone like that. He really did give that to me. He gave me grace and would tell me like when things are bad or when things are you good, you know what I mean? Like the last live show that I had that he was a producer, he was like, that was the best sell I had seen all year. He goes, we're at the end of the year now. He goes, it took a whole year to get that. And honestly, like, I wanted to cry. I impressed, like, Terry Taylor, just even for a second. Like, I'm doing great. Like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm going to get better and better and better.
Is it still the dream?
It's still the dream. It is still the dream. And, you know, the question always comes up, how much are you willing to sacrifice for the dream? And no matter who you talk to, there's different levels to it. Like, some people put a ceiling on what they're willing to sacrifice, and others, no, there isn't one. And I'm willing to take as much heat as I need to take. And, you know, really anything. That's the thing. It's like, you can give me as much heat as you want, online, in person, whatever. At the end of the day, I'm focused on myself and where I need to go, and like my development, and making sure that I put on the best matches possible. It's not about anything else other than that.
Do you think with the spotlight that your relationship has gotten now, that has kind of limited how much you could give to that?
Oh, no. I think my relationship being in the spotlight has only made people kind of want to watch me more.
Or like, you know, when you used to do basketball, where you say you're shooting 100 shots, 1,000 shots, whatever, like, are those outside things where you're building your relationship and having those moments taking away from you building the other side?
No, because like I said, time management is such a big thing and always has been for me. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's one of those conversations where you're like, babe, this is how things are going to run. It's not going to make sense to you. But like, for me to be the best wrestler I can be, XYZ is like how I'm going to move. And like, most of these trips I fit in slots that are kind of like open and free. Mm-hmm. And like, there will be moments where I do feel like it's taking a little bit more time away from the dream. But keep in mind, it's helping other things grow. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be just seen as a wrestler.
Right.
So it's like, okay, movie premiere, great. You're shaking hands with the most amazing people. And, you know, you're building these relationships. If I'm more than a wrestler, I want to be seen in those rooms. And I want to be having these conversations with these people. So it's like, you're giving a little here, you're giving a little there. And like, some people will be like, well, you're not giving 100% to your craft then. It's like, as long as I am getting in my reps, I'm training, I'm studying, I'm finding out the person I want to be, I'm winning regardless. And I'm adding to these wins. It's like, red carpet, cool. I'm traveling the world, cool. I'm meeting different people. I'm creating talking points about me. I'm not limiting myself to just wrestling or basketball or the modeling. No. Now we're food vloggers, you know, travelers. We're now having these conversations with other musicians about how we can promote one another. And, you know, then we're having these conversations with other wrestlers, and like, then we're bouncing around and we're having conversations with producers and directors. And then, you know, you have certain things like other brand partnerships, like Dumas, like all of these things eventually link up to one another. Right. But I'm going to die on the hill. I'm more than just a wrestler, just like I was more than just a basketball player. And to some people, it may seem like I'm taking it away from wrestling, but I'm adding to my future, because at some point you need to give up wrestling. You can't wrestle forever. It's impossible. It's like, I can't play basketball forever. Right. I can't wrestle I sure as heck can't wrestle forever. Like, you see it now. AJ Styles, John Cena, like all of these retirements, and there's going to be more because they've come to the end and they know it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when I'm done with wrestling, however long that is, I want there to be more to me and have other things built. Because like, at the end of the day, the whole point of it is financial freedom. Like, not only for myself, but for my family. Mm-hmm. I'm that generational change in my family. Like, even from 16, I was showing my mom what being in front of the camera can make me. Like, $3,000 for 4 hours. Like,
sounds amazing.
It sounds amazing, but I'm great at my job. Or if I like got booked for a 10-hour shoot, I cut it down to a 6-hour shoot because I was great at my job. There's 10K there in 6 hours. You know what I mean? Like, I'm showing my family that there is one way to make money. There's not just one way to make money, but there's several. And it all aligns with my morals and what I'm genuinely passionate about. It's not just me picking random hobbies.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, wrestling is going to come to an end, but when it comes to an end, I want to pick up and have something built already. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's I jump back solely into acting or, you know, because modeling also has a time frame on it. Like, I'm hoping, praying that I still have a baby face look by the time I'm 35, hoping, praying on my lucky stars. But that also has a timeline. It's a shorter timeline than wrestling. But, you know, when it comes to your acting and if I want to jump back into coaching or whatever it is, or even building up, you know, our content creation thing, it's like we're not starting from ground zero. We're already like kind of halfway there where we want to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's all good because as your relationship keep growing based on the internet, you'll be at WrestleMania next month. You know what I mean? So everything will work out amazing for you.
Rock, book it.
Book it.
I'm ready.
Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I feel like there's so much more we can talk about, so that means you have to come back. You know what I
Say
mean?
less, but this time we're going to take you on like a food tour around New York
Well,
City.
I'm fat. You know what I mean? I'm the president of the Fat Lives Matter committee, so anytime you add food into anything, I don't care where it is, I'm down.
We'll make it a Big Ups experience.
I can't wait.
Big Ups official experience, food tour, say less.
Anything else you want to tell the people on this trip? Because like I said, we're going to come back, but this trip, anything else you want to say to the people?
I think be unapologetically yourself and follow your dreams because there is nothing ever too big and out of reach. And I'm a prime example of that. Genuinely follow it. And don't ever tell yourself no when it comes to your dreams. Fulfill it.
Tatyana Dumas! Yeah!